Hello there, I'm Chris Stashu.
I'm Mike White.
And this is Father Malone.
And goodbye.
We enjoyed talking.
I don't know how I haven't done that one yet. But when I said hello there, I'm Chris Stashu, I looked at Father Malone and he was trying not to corpse really hard. So I was like, all right, well, this is the opportunity. If you're still here through that nightmare of a cold open, we are the Dreams for Sale podcast, taking a look at the 1985 reboot of The Twilight Zone. We are near the end of the show, so if you want to check out the first couple seasons, you can.
Do that immediately.
Yeah. Over and over again, please.
And then stick around for my mellifluous tones.
But if you want to hear what we're talking about in this episode, we're talking about the 24th and 25th episodes of the third season, nearing the end here. I think we're, in the last 10 episodes.
Not soon enough, Chris Stashu.
But we're going to be talking about Cat and Mouse and Rendezvous in a Dark Place.
One of these is really good.
Andrea Moffat longs for true love. A man who is strong, handsome, and exotic, who desires her above all other women. She is about to learn that naivety has its price, and that the universe has a very curious sense of humor.
So let's talk about the Horny Cat episode first. Cat and Mouse aired March 4th, 1989. It stars Pamela Bellwood and Paige Fletcher. Paige Fletcher plays Guillaume, a cat, a horny cat, a man who got turned into a cat who fucks women through the ages. And he comes upon a woman who, I think we all know that she's very bookish by the clothes that they had her wear.
Whoa.
She looked like a Mormon housewife.
A fucking school marm from 1890.
My God. Don't show me any of that ankle love, please.
Hey, can you show us that you're shy? Yes, clutch your arms that way. That's it. That's the universal signal for I'm shy.
But it turns out she's kinky as fuck.
Oh, yes.
She's amazing.
Because all the shy ones are.
Because I don't know if you guys know this, but it would only take someone kinky to have sex with a cat. Because it's a cat that she's having sex with, and then she neuters him at the end of the episode. Don't care. She neuters the cat because it's the man. The man's balls get cut off.
Fixes him. Yeah.
She does get him fixed.
Is, I believe, the female version.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. You're right.
It's okay.
No. Spaying is the female version. Neutering is the male.
I guess fixed is just the overall term.
Yes.
Pet
everyone will understand that.
I was about to say, Mr. Bob Barker, would you like to let everyone know? Spay and neuter.
It was a good ending. It was a good ending to the episode.
Yeah.
I liked the ending. I didn't like anything leading up to that.
No.
Right.
But I really liked the ending.
Yeah. I was reminded a little bit of there was there like a Tooth Fairy episode that was kind of similar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kenneth Johnson, I think.
I liked when he was mad at her for trying to put a collar on him, and I was kind of hoping maybe we would have seen him transform and start choking or something, but instead it's all just implied that that's why he's mad, but then it also plays into that whole don't try to pin me down, baby. But
I'm
Paige
a cat,
Fletcher,
baby.
Paige Fletcher, I'm sorry, but there's no appeal. No appeal whatsoever.
Sex icon RoboCop.
He's a creep, and he's not that attractive. You know? I'm sorry.
He's just better known for playing other characters other actors made famous before him.
Yeah.
Who else has
and
he played?
He played the
Hitcher. He was
Hitcher.
the Hitcher.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I got it. Okay. Yeah, he was unappealing then when he was younger and better looking, and he was unappealing here.
Yeah.
There's something very, to me, Billy Zane about him. I can't stand Billy Zane the same way. You just look at him and there's something off-putting about him, you know?
I mean, the fact that they have the cat's name be Guillaume as opposed to anything else.
Because the French know love. But there was never love involved. I had my fun. You had yours. Now I leave.
Yeah. Let me just give this character every fucking cliche known to man that comes out of his mouth. Like, geez.
I gotta say, the construction of the plot with the downers and the fucking, all the little things that sort of come together to allow her to drug him and then have him neutered, that was good. It was just so clumsily put together that, I enjoyed this more than I didn't this episode, even though I could not stand watching that guy.
Yeah, it was decent. And it felt, if anything, it felt a little too long. It's that suffering from having these episodes standalone. But yeah, and I kind of liked the jealous coworker, and how the jealous coworker immediately knew that our main character was getting fucked. I was okay. Yeah, that works.
It could have been, though, like, I mean, you see, you bring that other character into it because they did. Like, if it had just been about these three characters, and maybe she's the hot one that gets all the guys, and she's, like, there could have been some sort of relationship thing instead of we work at a drugstore and you're, like, who cares about everything that was happening there?
That was my issue with the episode, is everything outside of her house is just so humdrum. Like, her coworkers harassing her, okay. And then that's it. It's just her being harassed by her coworkers when we're not at her house.
Right.
Yeah, basically. In one form or another.
Yeah. Here's this lingerie that you bought. Let me open it.
What in the fuck, man?
Yeah, what is going on here?
I have no idea. The 80s must have been a different time than now, guys.
They sure were. We've got this as a document. This is how every day was. Every day was people were taking your underwear out of bags and parading around in them.
And men were turning into sexy cat men.
That's right.
That's still happening today.
Yes.
So, okay, so I have a question, though, here.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Maybe it's my drug-addled brain. I don't know. What was the intention of fixing him?
So he could no longer perform.
That's right. She's basically almost castrating the guy. So when he turns back into a human, he can't have sex with the next lady.
People without balls can't have sex at all?
They can.
It's very strange. Like, I get what it was going for, but like, if you just think about it.
It was a joke, Chris.
I know it's a joke. It's just not a funny one.
I laughed.
I
cheered.
I laughed at the freeze frame, the 80s freeze frame at the end.
Oh yeah, well, gotta love a freeze frame.
Yeah. And then things are moving in the background. Frank Drebin walks in, walks out, looks at the camera. It was weird. The show hasn't ended on a freeze frame yet, and here we are. Like,
we were due.
I know. I guess so. Can't make it out of the 80s without a fucking freeze frame. Yeah, it was. I think it was all right. I will tell both of you that it was something different, which is nice.
Yeah, and it wasn't J. Michael Straczynski writing it. Woohoo!
Shocker.
I know.
Right? The real shocker, though, I think, is the next episode we're going to talk about.
Boy, oh boy. It is shocking, all right.
Let's talk about Rendezvous in a Dark Place.
No, let's not. I changed my mind.
Barbara LeMay, the woman in black, out of place in a world of colors and sounds and life. A woman caught between fascination and something more profound and less earthly. Barbara LeMay, with one foot in the grave, the other firmly planted in the Twilight Zone.
So Rendezvous in a Dark Place is the 25th episode of the third season of the show. It is, once again, written by J. Michael Straczynski, directed by Renee Bonnier, and it stars Janet Leigh as a woman obsessed with death, and Stephen McHattie as a man who, then, now, and forever, looks the same. Just looks the same. Stephen McHattie doesn't age. Convince me he does. Show me a picture of him now.
You should probably see Pontypool if you haven't. He's looking pretty rough in that one.
Yeah, or I've seen him recently in something too. Oh. He's a stone-faced giant now. But but he looks. In fact, while watching this one, I thought, oh my god, he looks so young. So
yeah.
I've seen him recently. Then
he played Hobo Number 1 in Nightmare Alley, apparently too. So the new Nightmare Alley. Yeah.
Hobo Number 1.
Yeah. How the Mighty Have Fallen. But yeah, he was fantastic in this episode, and he's just fantastic overall. And Chris, actually, if you haven't seen Pontypool, go out and see it.
Definitely.
Long time ago. That's why I don't. It's been. I probably saw when it came out. It was like 08, right? It came out like 08 or something. 08 or 08.
It was 2008.
Okay. That's what.
Yeah. Counterpoint to Stephen McHattie's fantastic performance. I know that Janet Leigh is Hollywood royalty.
Mm-hmm.
I love her to pieces, but she's terrible. She's a terrible actress. She's really bad in this. Am I wrong?
Terrible actress or just in this?
Maybe just in this. I've seen her be good. Obviously, she was great in Psycho. Oh, yeah. And I liked her in The Fog quite a bit. She did a good job in that. Here, in this one-woman show that they wrote to entice a fading Hollywood star to be on the show, like
a forgotten lady, as it were.
Yeah, it's not good. She's not good. Like at the end when she's just sort of acting instead of like saying things, like she's fantastic. in that final thing. No. And I'm not saying she can't act.
You're right.
I'm just saying like the words are so puerile coming out of her mouth that like, and she doesn't believe it. Clearly, Janet Leigh doesn't. So I don't know. I take back saying she was a bad actress if I said that. I'm not trying to give that impression, but there's no redeeming these words.
She's not good in this.
She's not capable of redeeming the words.
My wife, who has barely seen any Twilight Zone other than her suffering through this third season and partially enjoying the first and second, as we're watching this, she's like, haven't you seen this one before? And I'm like, no. And she's like, no, it's an old one. And I was like, wait a second. I was like, Robert Redford and oh God, why am I blanking on
Gladys Cooper?
Gladys Cooper, okay. Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. And I started to describe it. She's like, yeah, exactly that. I'm like, yes.
Absolutely.
Very much the same thing, though she's more afraid of death, right? And Janet Leigh loves death.
She loves them to pieces.
Oh, yeah. She's got like an Alice Cooper fixation on death.
Yeah, isn't the original is more like she's so afraid of death she won't leave.
Right. Yeah, like she's like locked in her house, won't go outside, has to wear a mask all the time. Yeah. Sorry.
Wow. Wow.
I just feel for her now.
I mean, I hear you.
Yes.
Nothing. Yeah, it's weird how close this is to the original show, right?
Oh yeah. Again, tripping clumsily into Rod Serling territory here with a character piece with just espousing thoughts on this and that. As far as characters go, we've got a woman who, yes, I get it. She's watched many of her friends die, but has a son and an extended family that she's not engaged in.
Yeah, like, not at all.
Wasn't that the lesson of the episode that should have been learned here instead of she gets to be Death's companion, or make that where she has nothing, that everyone has died and now she's completely obsessed with it and becomes Death's paramour or whatever, you know?
Well, that's what I didn't understand about the episode. Why did Death change his mind so quickly?
Because she showed a deep commitment to the Death lifestyle.
Yeah. She remembered what high school she went to, unlike other people that tried for the same job.
I didn't understand it at all.
Because it was really dumb. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, Father Malone, that this is the episode you didn't like. I thought it was going to be the cat episode.
Yeah, no, and I sort of was I was being overly enthusiastic at the beginning, saying one of them was great. That was a lie. Just to get us through this episode.
Listeners, you have been tricked.
You've been duped, ladies.
I will recommend the cat one on some level, but this one I cannot at all. This one is garbage. I mean, I'm not garbage. Stephen McHattie's really good in it, but he's a charming motherfucker. Like, if he had been doing anything for 22 minutes, I would have been like, that was a good episode. Yeah. So
I think that's the problem for me, is that everything else is not any better than Stephen McHattie on his own.
She's so obsessed with death that the way she thinks to lure him is to grow old enough that someone breaks into her house and is wounded and is dying, and then she gets to see death. Like, they didn't. If her character's this death upset, first of all, it reminded me of Harold and Maude, drained of all the wit and like it's. That's what Maude does, right? But like. I don't know. This one was tough.
It hurt. Yeah.
I think the other thing that I think is the most disappointing part of this episode for me is the fact that they have an episode like this on the original show that's very similar, and this episode thinks that somehow just subverting the ending is enough. And it's like, that's this,
and not mentioning the original at all.
No.
Right.
Not saying based on the teleplay by whomever.
Rod Serling, yeah.
Yeah. I wish Stephen McHattie was in a different episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first season, man. He could have done something.
And the original's by George Clayton Johnson, who wrote a ton of stuff. So
there you go. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's weird because this episode you think is going in one direction, Death leaves, and then Death just comes back, and he's like, "All right, I guess you're my forever Death companion."
Yeah,
my protege.
Didn't Johnson do the pool episode we just talked about a few episodes ago?
Yeah, a game of pool. Yeah,
right. Okay. So that's the thing. He gets credit in that one, but not this one.
That's the thing about this episode. It did remind me of some of the other Devil episodes that we've seen, or kind of, a game of pool. What's the other one?
Yeah. Everyone's conception of death on this show is basically boring and stupid.
I mean, their conception of the devil isn't.
No, the conception of the devil has been fantastic. Playing poker and just showing up at math lectures.
Exactly.
What was the other? I guess one of the other death episodes in this show was the one about like the highway.
The guy that drives all the souls through highway.
Right.
Yeah. Highway.
Steve Railsback, right?
Yes.
God,
yeah. What did you do? I was a thief. Okay, you can go.
Man.
Remember those days?
I do.
Fondly.
And we probably were like ripping out that episode, but now it's like, give me that.
Oh my God, bring it all back.
Please.
Yeah.
We're in the Twilight Zone because we are probably ripping on all these really good episodes. And now we're faced with season 3. And yeah, we're just the person out in the middle of the street screaming up at the sky. No, please, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I want to see the episode about Santa Claus again.
Show me that one with
Night
the
of the
little
Meek?
person.
Yes. Or the leprechaun one.
Yes.
Yeah.
The leprechaun artist.
Yes.
That was season 1.
Let's try that one again, shall we?
I miss you.
Red Snow.
Yeah.
That wasn't season 1.
Give me
That
George
was season
Zunza,
1.
please.
Yeah, George Zunza.
One life furnished in early poverty.
I mean, my goodness.
God, yeah.
I was absent for the recording of that episode, but I had to watch it. I did not enjoy it.
I didn't know we ever recorded without you.
You did one time.
Okay.
One time too many.
That's why.
I know, because I was in fucking Duluth, Minnesota when it happened. And like up to my shins in snow. And just going like, I'd rather be recording an episode right now.
And then you watched the episode and you were like, maybe I wouldn't be.
Well, I had watched it anyway.
That's fair. We are a far cry from there. And I will tell you, though, we are in the last 5 episodes of the show.
Can we record all of those at once?
Yeah, I think that's one more recording.
One more recording.
2 and 3, and then we are done.
Yeah.
On to better things.
That's right.
So on the next episode of the show, we are in the last 5 episodes of Twilight Zone 1985. We're going to be talking about Many, Many Monkeys and Love is Blind.
Love
Great.
the title.
Many, many monkeys.
Many, many monkeys. Until then, where can people find you, Mr. Mike White?
Would you say I have a plethora of monkeys?
Oh, yes. You have a plethora.
A barrel of them, even, possibly?
You can find me over at the Projection Booth Podcast, which, strangely enough, is available at projectionboothpodcast.com.
What about you, Father Malone? Where can people find you if they were looking?
Check me out over at fathermalone.com. I've got links to all of my stuff, but specifically my podcast, Dark Destinations. It's a half-hour radio drama I write and produce.
And as for me, you can find me at cstashu.com, cstachiw.com. That's my link tree for all the other things I work on. So there you go. As always, big thanks to Roxy Drive and Neutron Dreams for the music for the show, and we'll catch you on the next episode.